Think about the last time you had a truly bold idea.
Oh, yeah. Everyone has those.
Right. Maybe it was like a massive career pivot or a creative project you've just always wanted to start.
Or even something smaller, right? Like a difficult boundary you needed to set with a friend.
Exactly. You felt this initial spark, this huge surge of energy. But then, almost immediately, what happened?
The mental committee convened.
Yes, the mental committee. You started calculating the risks. You told yourself you needed to do, a little more research.
Read just one more book.
Right. Wait for a slightly better financial quarter or just hold out for the perfect moment.
And then here you are.
Yeah. Here you are months or maybe years later, still waiting, still researching, still standing safely on the shore, just, watching the boats go out.
It is honestly the universal human trap. We treat hesitation as if it is a virtue.
Oh, totally.
We dress it up as prudence or like due diligence, when in reality it is just fear wearing a tailored suit.
Fear wearing a tailored suit. I love that. And that is exactly why we are here today. Welcome to the Deep Dive. I am thrilled you are here with us.
Glad to be here.
So our mission for this session is diving into episode 6 of the classic Mosaic Truth series.
A really heavy hitter today.
Oh, massive. We are looking squarely at Ralph Waldo Emerson's monumental essay, Self-Reliance.
But we are filtering it through a very specific, practical lens, right?
We are. We are focusing on how to build confidence through action.
And I want to clarify right away, this isn't just about feeling good about yourself in front of a mirror.
No affirmations here.
Right. It is about dismantling the invisible psychological architecture that keeps you paralyzed.
Spot on. And we are talking directly to you, the curious learner, who might be feeling a little stuck in the mud lately.
We have all been there.
Exactly. If you are wrestling with the fear of failure or waiting for permission to take your own life off hold, you are in the exact right place.
We are going to break down why you are stalling and how to actually get moving.
Yes, we are. But before we really tear into this, I need to say this. If this episode helps you, please hit like and subscribe for the next one.
So to really get to the bottom of this, we have to start by completely redefining what confidence actually is.
Because we have it all wrong, don't we?
We really do. Emerson's entire philosophy hinges on a premise that honestly flies in the face of how modern society operates.
How so?
Well, we generally believe that confidence and genius are these external things.
Like things you acquire.
Exactly. We think confidence comes from getting a promotion or gathering enough applause or securing enough guarantees before we act.
But Emerson flips that.
He flips the script entirely.
Yeah.
He argues that true confidence has absolutely nothing to do with external validation.
Nothing at all.
Nothing. It comes from an unshakable trust in your own intuitions. And crucially, taking genuine physical action based on that trust.
Even when people disagree.
Especially then, even when the crowd is actively betting against you.
See, I hear that, and part of me thinks, man, that sounds incredibly liberating.
Because it is.
But another part of me looks around and thinks we have, severely mythologized confidence.
Oh, for sure.
We treat it like an innate biological trait, like eye color,
Right, like you were either born with it or you were not.
Exactly. You look at someone who easily commands a boardroom or starts a risky business, and the immediate thought is, well, they just have it.
The confidence gene.
Yeah, the confidence gene. And I guess I was just sick that day.
And that is the greatest trick society plays on us. We view confidence as a prerequisite to action.
Meaning we think we need the feeling first.
Right. We think, once I feel confident, then I will make the move. But Emerson introduces this phenomenal concept to correct that illusion.
I know where you're going with this.
He calls it the aboriginal self.
The aboriginal self. I want to spend some time on this because, well, it sounds a bit mystical on the surface.
I get that.
What does he actually mean by that?
It is not mystical at all, really. It is deeply practical.
Okay, lay it out for us.
The aboriginal self is, it is your ground floor psychology.
Ground floor, I like that.
It is the foundational original essence of who you are and what you genuinely value before society started layering its expectations on you.
Its rules, its anxieties.
Exactly. It is the quiet voice that exists before you start worrying about your mortgage or your resume or, what your neighbors think.
So it's just pure you.
Pure you. And Emerson says that tapping into this requires a profound internal trust.
He uses a really specific phrase for this, right?
He does. It is an incredibly evocative phrase. He says, we must learn to trust the iron string to which every heart vibrates.
The iron string. Man, it is such a visceral image
It really is.
because it doesn't sound like a fragile little hope, you know?
Yeah.
An iron string implies something resonant, something structural and heavy.
Like the bass string on a grand piano.
Yes, exactly.
It implies that your core intuition isn't some fleeting emotion. It is a load-bearing pillar of your identity.
A load-bearing pillar, so you can build on it.
Precisely. Trusting that iron string means having faith in your internal compass over the deafening external noise.
Which is hard to do.
It is very hard. It means accepting that you actually have the answers you are desperately asking everyone else to give you.
But here's where I always get tripped up, and I know you, the listener, probably do too.
What's the block?
Well, if we all have this structural, load-bearing iron string of intuition inside of us, why is the default human setting to ignore it?
That is the big question.
Right? Like, why is it so incredibly hard to just act on what we know is right for us?
Because the world actively punishes you for doing it.
Punishes you. That is a strong word.
Emerson is ruthless in his diagnosis here. He describes society not as a community, but as a joint stock company.
A joint stock company, like a literal corporate entity.
Yeah, where everyone holds shares and expects a dividend.
Okay, break that down for me. How is society a joint stock company?
Well, in the societal joint stock company, the members implicitly agree to surrender their individual liberty. They surrender their unique quirks in exchange for comfort and security. Emerson calls it securing their bread.
Your bread, their livelihood.
Right. The company demands conformity. It whispers to you, we will make sure you are fed, clothed, and socially accepted.
But there is a catch.
There is a huge catch. The cost of admission is that you have to act like everyone else.
Do not be weird.
Do not be weird. Do not rock the boat. Do not take risks that make the rest of us feel insecure.
Oh, wow.
People wait to act because they are terrified of violating the bylaws of this company and losing their shares.
Wait, let me push back on this a little bit.
Go for it.
Because framing society as this oppressive, conformity-demanding corporation feels, well, a little cynical.
It can sound that way, sure.
Isn't a lot of our hesitation just basic survival instinct?
How do you mean?
Like, if I am facing a major career pivot or moving to a new city across the country, I am not going to just leap on a whim.
Of course not.
I am going to gather data. I am
Mhm.
going to talk to mentors. I am going to, run the numbers.
Right.
Is taking time to prepare really surrendering my soul to the joint stock company?
It is a fair pushback, and it is the exact rationalization every highly intelligent, anxious person uses to stay stuck.
Okay, now I feel called out.
While Emerson isn't against preparation or common sense, if you are building a bridge, please do the math.
Yes, please do the math on the bridge.
Right. The danger is that what we call gathering data is almost always a disguised plea for external permission.
Ouch. A disguised plea for permission.
Think about it. When you are asking 10 different mentors for advice on a choice you already know you want to make, you aren't looking for data.
What am I looking for?
You're looking for an accomplice.
Oh, man. An accomplice.
You want someone else to sign off on the risk so that if it fails, you don't have to carry the full weight of the blame.
That is so true. We want to be able to say, well, my mentor told me it was a good idea.
Exactly. We delay because we are terrified of looking foolish in front of the other shareholders.
The other people in the joint stock company.
Yes. We wait until the crowd says, yes, that is a perfectly safe, conventional move.
But the crowd is rarely right about bold things.
Never. The crowd, by definition, only ever approves of mediocre, predictable moves.
That is so incredibly confronting. Because it touches on the raw nerve of the fear of failure.
The deepest fear we have.
Is exactly what you just said. If I act entirely on my own intuition and it bombs, it is entirely my fault.
There is no scapegoat.
Zero. But if I follow the conventional path, say I take the safe corporate job everyone said was smart, and I end up miserable or laid off.
Well, at least you failed conventionally.
Right. I can look around and say, hey, I did what I was supposed to do. The system failed me. I didn't fail myself.
And that is the tragedy of adulthood right there.
Adulthood specifically.
Yes, Emerson notes how children don't do this. Have you ever noticed a healthy toddler?
Oh, they are completely unhinged. In a good way.
Exactly. They aren't timid. They don't apologize for their existence. They just speak their minds and state their needs.
They want the juice. They demand the juice.
Right. But as we grow into adults, we are trained to become deeply apologetic. We lose that pure agency.
We really do.
Instead of simply saying, I think or I want, We constantly quote sages.
We quote sages. We point to other people.
We lean on external authority to justify our own existence.
Oh, I am so guilty of this.
Everyone is.
Like, if I have a slightly controversial idea in a meeting, I rarely just own it. I will frame it defensively.
How so?
I will say, well, as a recent business journal pointed out, or, according to the latest market trends,
Yes.
I use other people's perceived authority as a human shield for my own intuition.
We all do. The joint stock company trains us to do it. We prefer the perceived safety of conformity over the exposure of authentic action.
But it doesn't actually keep us safe, does it?
Conforming doesn't protect you at all. It just erases you. It hides you in plain sight.
Hides you in plain sight. That is haunting.
And the result is that low-grade chronic dissatisfaction so many people feel today.
Let's bring this right into the modern era, because I think this dynamic is actually worse now than it was in Emerson's time.
Without a doubt.
Because we fear that judgment so much, we demand absolute mathematical certainty before we make a move.
And modern life enables this delusion perfectly.
It totally does. We are conditioned to trust spreadsheets, data analytics, predictive algorithms, GPS mapping.
Everything is mapped out for us.
Right. We are subtly taught that if an instinct cannot be quantified in a pivot table, it is invalid. So we actively suppress our own gut feelings.
It is the modern translation of the exact problem Emerson identified. We have outsourced our iron string to the algorithm.
Outsourced our iron string. That is exactly it.
But to understand why this is so damaging, we have to look at what intuition actually is.
Because people think it is just a feeling.
Yeah, and Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist, had a framework that maps onto Emerson perfectly here.
Okay, Jung, what did he say?
Jung didn't view intuition as some magical, ethereal sixth sense.
Not psychic powers.
No, not at all. He defined it strictly as perception via the unconscious.
Perception via the unconscious. So it is not guessing.
Not at all.
It is actual data processing just happening below the surface.
Precisely. Let's really break this down because it changes everything about how you make decisions.
Let's hear it.
Your conscious mind, the part of you that does math and writes emails, is relatively slow.
Right. It gets overwhelmed easily.
It can only hold a few variables at a time. But your unconscious mind is a supercomputer.
A supercomputer.
It is constantly absorbing millions of microcues every single second. Shifts in someone's body language.
Microscopic changes in tone of voice.
Environmental patterns. Memories of past failures. It is taking it all in.
So when I get a bad vibe about a potential business partner or a sudden urge to take a different route home, that is not just random anxiety.
Far from it. It is your unconscious mind screaming that it has recognized a pattern your conscious mind hasn't caught up to yet. Intuition acts infinitely faster than logic because it bypasses the slow, rationalizing parts of the brain.
That makes so much sense.
Think about grandmaster chess players. When they look at a board, they don't consciously calculate every single possible move.
They just know.
Right, they just feel that a certain section of the board is weak. That feeling is the result of thousands of hours of internalized data processing presenting itself as an instinct.
Presenting itself as an instinct.
So acting on that quiet inner voice, even when you don't have a logical spreadsheet to justify it to your boss or your spouse.
That is the ultimate modern application of self-reliance.
Exactly. It is trusting the supercomputer over the pocket calculator.
Trusting the supercomputer over the pocket calculator. That is brilliant. I want to weave in an analogy here that feels perfectly tailored to this struggle of acting without full certainty.
Yeah, please do.
Emerson uses the image of a ship navigating the ocean. He says the voyage of the best ship is a zigzag line of 100 tacks.
It is a brilliant visual.
Right. If you look up close at a sailboat trying to move forward against the wind, it looks totally erratic.
They're completely chaotic.
It swings violently to the left, sails for a while, then swings violently to the right.
Right.
To someone who doesn't understand sailing, it looks like a series of mistakes.
Yeah.
It looks like confusion. It does not look like a straight, confident, logical line.
And if you are standing on the deck of that ship, every time the captain yells to tack and the boom swings across, you might panic.
You would. You'd think, we are going the wrong way.
The destination is straight ahead. Why are we turning left?
Exactly. But you have to move at an angle to the wind to make any forward progress at all. The zigzagging isn't a mistake. It is the mechanism of momentum.
which perfectly illustrates how we actually learn and grow.
We learn by moving.
We learn by moving. Our actions only make sense when viewed from a macro perspective, from a distance.
Right.
Action is what generates the data you need to adjust your course. If the ship just sits in the harbor waiting for the wind to blow perfectly from behind, it rots.
It literally just rots.
Action creates friction. Friction creates data, and data creates clarity. You cannot steer a parked car.
I love that. You cannot steer a parked car.
It is physically impossible.
You physically have to put the vehicle in drive and hit the gas before turning the wheel does anything.
Exactly.
You have to be moving to even figure out if you are going in the wrong direction.
And this realization completely obliterates our normal understanding of confidence. It flips the entire paradigm on its head.
Because we think we need the confidence to start the car.
Right. But confidence is not a prerequisite for action. Confidence is the result of action.
I want everyone listening to just let that settle for a second.
It is a big shift.
It is massive. We spend our lives waiting to feel confident before we do the scary thing. But you are saying the feeling is the reward for doing the scary thing, not the fuel for it.
It is the harvest, not the seed.
The harvest, not the seed.
By repeatedly trusting your internal signals, by taking a step without needing the joint stock company to applaud first, you start building a quiet, profound belief in yourself.
Why does that happen? Structurally, in our brains.
Because every time you step into the unknown and survive, your brain rewires itself.
Right.
You take a risk, it maybe gets messy, you zig when you should have zagged, but the world doesn't end.
You are still standing.
Your nervous system registers that survival. It says, okay, we handled that, we didn't die, we can trust ourselves a little more next time.
Okay, so if we know that action is the only thing that builds belief, we need to get very honest about where we are currently stalling.
Let's get into it.
Where are we parked with the engine off? Let's transition into the daily reality of this. Where do we most frequently sabotage ourselves by waiting?
There are a few major arenas for this.
The first one that jumps out, obviously, is work. Delaying decisions in the professional sphere.
Oh, yes.
The modern corporate workplace honestly feels like an avoidance factory sometimes.
It is designed to be. It is the joint stock company operating at peak efficiency.
It really is. People hide behind endless, circular team meetings where absolutely nothing gets resolved.
Just meeting after meeting.
Or, my absolute favorite modern avoidance tactic, the CC all email button.
Oh, that is a classic.
It is brilliant in a dark way. You have a minor decision to make, but instead of just making it, you loop in 20 different department heads.
Why do we do that?
Because you are diluting the accountability. If the decision turns out to be wrong, nobody can point the finger directly at you because, hey, 20 people were on the thread and nobody objected.
The CCL strategy is the ultimate surrender of the Aboriginal self.
It really is.
It is the explicit avoidance of individual responsibility. What Emerson calls for and what self-reliance demands in a workplace is something we can call intellectual bravery.
Intellectual bravery. How does that look in practice?
It looks like refusing to nod along with a bad plan just to keep the peace.
Woo, that is tough.
Picture yourself in one of those endless meetings. Someone pitches a strategy and everyone is politely nodding.
Right, groupthink.
But your intuition, that perception via the unconscious, is screaming that this strategy is a disaster. You see the fatal flaw.
You just feel it in your gut.
In that moment, you face a binary choice. You can stay silent, protect your shares in the company, and keep your bread.
Keep your comfort.
Or you can speak up, risk the awkwardness, and state the truth as you see it.
Which is terrifying.
It is. But delaying that decision or swallowing your objection to avoid standing out is giving up your internal authority. You are training your brain that your voice doesn't matter.
And doing that over and over again is incredibly draining.
Exhausting.
Which bleeds perfectly into the second major area where we stall out. Our relationships.
A huge one.
Waiting to speak or act with the people in our lives. I think about the massive energetic debt we accrue when we say yes to things we desperately want to say no to.
Energetic debt. That is the perfect term for it.
It is like putting charges on a credit card you can't pay off.
You are just racking up the balance.
You get invited to a dinner party you dread. Or a colleague asks you to take on just a little piece of their project when you are already drowning.
And you just agree to it.
And instead of just declining, your conditioning kicks in. You want to be liked. You want to be the easygoing person. So you say yes.
But you aren't actually being generous.
No. You are taking out a loan against your own vital energy, and the interest rate on that loan is massive.
And how does that interest manifest? It manifests as deep, toxic resentment.
Oh, resentment is the worst.
You show up to the dinner party, but you are radiating passive aggression.
Everyone can feel it.
You do the favor, but you complain about it to 3 other people behind their back.
Totally.
This highlights why taking action on your boundaries isn't selfish. It is necessary for the survival of the relationship.
It is the most loving thing you can do.
Waiting to set a boundary until you are totally exhausted and burned out inevitably leads to an explosive, damaging confrontation.
So how does the self-reliant person handle the dinner party invitation? Let's role play this.
The self-reliant approach is to deliver the no cleanly without the 10-minute guilt-ridden apology tour.
Oh, the over-explaining. We all do it.
We do.
We say, I'm so sorry I can't come to your party. My dog has a slight limp, and I think my car battery is dying. And also I have a migraine coming on.
Just making things up.
We construct these elaborate fictional narratives to justify our absence.
Because you are pleading your case to the joint stock company. You are begging them to excuse your nonconformity.
Wow.
A person rooted in their Aboriginal self understands a fundamental truth. You cannot pour water into someone else's cup if your own cup is shattered and leaking everywhere.
You just can't.
A polite, warm, but firm no is a complete sentence. It honors your iron string. It says, I value myself enough to protect my energy.
Which brings us to the third massive area of avoidance, our daily habits.
Starting and stopping.
Starting and stopping. It seems like the default human condition is to constantly postpone actual living.
We live entirely in our heads.
We are trapped in this weird temporal distortion. We are either constantly looking backward, paralyzed by regret, and analyzing what we did wrong yesterday.
Or we are standing on our tiptoes, frantically anticipating the future.
Exactly. We say things like, I will finally start writing my novel when the kids are in high school.
Or I will launch my consulting business as soon as interest rates drop.
I will start working out when life calms down.
Spoiler alert, life never calms down.
It never does.
Emerson uses a beautiful, poetic observation to destroy this habit of postponing life.
The roses, right?
Yes, he talks about the roses growing under his window. He notes that these roses make no reference to former roses.
They don't care about last year's bloom.
They don't sit around feeling inadequate compared to the blooms from last summer, and they certainly don't worry about the frost that might come next month.
They are just there.
They simply exist completely and perfectly in the present moment. A rose doesn't wait for a better macroeconomic climate to bloom.
It just does the work of being a rose right now.
We stall our habits because we refuse to be present. We demand perfect, frictionless conditions that do not exist.
We think the universe owes us a perfectly clear runway before we take off.
But to break the cycle, you literally just have to act in the now. The messy, inconvenient, noisy now.
Right. And to move this from abstract philosophy into practical reality, we need to give you a specific protocol.
Let's give him something to do today.
Let's outline a concrete exercise to help you reclaim your momentum today. We call this the action reset.
The action reset.
It is incredibly straightforward, but I promise you, your brain will try to resist it.
Oh, it will fight you the whole way.
Step 1. Identify one thing you have been delaying. I want you, listening to this right now, to pause.
Just take a breath.
Drop the rationalizations for a second and just listen to your intuition. What is the one task, the one conversation, or the one decision that is generating a low-frequency buzz of anxiety in the back of your mind?
The thing you keep migrating from today's to-do list to tomorrow's to-do list.
We all have one.
Everyone has at least one. It is that email you drafted, starred, and left in your drafts folder 3 days ago.
It is the doctor's appointment you know you need to schedule.
It is the hard feedback you need to give a direct report. Your iron string knows exactly what it is.
Okay, you have it in your head. Step 2, take one small action today. And the key word here is small.
Do not try to boil the ocean.
Do not try to solve the entire existential crisis. If the problem is your marriage, don't try to fix the whole marriage today.
Right.
If the problem is your career, don't try to land a new job today. Take one definitive physical step in the present moment that moves the needle forward by 1 millimeter.
Physicality is important here. Thinking about it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Journaling about it doesn't count. You have to move something in the real world.
Hit send on the draft.
Pick up the phone and dial the number.
Send the calendar invite for the difficult conversation. Break the seal of inaction.
And finally, step 3, which is where most people bail out. Accept imperfection.
This is so vital.
It is everything. Emerson gives us this incredible, fiery piece of advice. He says, You should speak what you think today in hard words, and tomorrow speak what tomorrow thinks in hard words again, even if it completely contradicts everything you said today.
We get so paralyzed by the need to be consistent.
We view our past decisions as a prison sentence.
Exactly. We think, well, I spent 4 years getting an accounting degree, and I told my whole family I was going to be an accountant, so I can't possibly pivot to graphic design now.
I would look like a hypocrite.
I wouldn't be consistent.
And Emerson famously warns that a foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds.
The hobgoblin of little minds.
Who cares if you contradict your past self? Your past self was operating on older, inferior data.
Wow.
Genuine action explains itself. When you take a step that is deeply aligned with your Aboriginal self today, it does not matter if it confuses the people who knew you yesterday.
That is so freeing.
You have to accept that the action you take in this action reset exercise won't be flawless. It might be clumsy, but you have to grant yourself the permission to evolve.
Okay, I love this plan. Identify the task, take the physical step, accept the messy contradiction.
That is the formula.
But even with a solid plan, our brains are tricky. There are subtle, insidious traps that can still pull us back into the mud.
The pitfalls of waiting.
Let's explore the mistakes, the invisible pitfalls of waiting. The biggest one, without a doubt, is waiting for perfect timing.
It is a massive trap.
We harbor this persistent illusion that some future favorable event will suddenly descend from the heavens and make acting easy.
We think, when I finally get that promotion and the title of director, then I will feel secure enough to lead the team assertively.
It is the ultimate mirage.
Emerson completely dismantles this reliance on the future. He writes, "Do not believe it. Nothing can bring you peace but yourself."
Nothing can bring you peace but yourself.
Relying on external timing is a complete surrender of your own power to fate. It is handing the keys to your destiny over to circumstances you have zero control over.
And if you wait for the perfect time,
You will die waiting. Because the joint stock company will always, always find a valid-sounding reason to tell you it is too risky right now.
the economy is too volatile.
The kids are too young.
You don't have enough experience yet.
It never ends.
That brings up the trickiest pitfall of all, and the one that trips up high achievers the most. Confusing preparation with avoidance.
Oh, this one is brutal.
How do I actually know the difference? Because let me tell you, when I am terrified of starting a new project, reading 5 books about how to start the project feels extremely productive.
It feels like you are doing the work.
It feels like I am doing the work.
It feels like work because it engages the intellect, but it is often just procrastination wearing a very clever disguise.
So how do we diagnose it?
There is a clear, brutal diagnostic for this. Ask yourself, does your preparation rely entirely on consuming other people's knowledge? If you are endlessly researching, iterating a private plan, imitating others, and citing past experts, but you haven't taken a single vulnerable, physical step in the real world, you are hiding.
You were spinning your wheels in the library.
Exactly. True preparation eventually must intersect with opportunity. It requires you to step into the arena and take a hit.
Avoidance just buys more books.
Avoidance buys more books and makes more color-coded spreadsheets. At a certain point, the research phase is over. You have to act to get the new data.
Let's pull all of these incredibly rich threads together to solidify this new operating system for everyone listening.
Let's do a recap.
If we want to boil Emerson's massive world-tilting philosophy down into a few core takeaways you can use this afternoon, here's what we have got. First, action builds confidence.
The most important point.
Confidence is not a feeling you passively wait for while sitting on the couch. It is the physical harvest of the actions you force yourself to take.
You don't get the confidence first. You earn it by doing the hard thing without it.
Second, clarity follows movement. Remember the ship tacking against the wind.
The zigzag line.
You will only ever see the straight, logical line of your progress in the rearview mirror after you have made the messy, zigzagging movements.
You cannot chart a flawless course while anchored in the harbor. You have to pull up the anchor, set sail, feel the resistance of the wind, and adjust your course based on reality.
You cannot steer a parked car.
Exactly.
And finally, belief grows through experience. By learning to trust that quiet inner voice, that brilliant perception via the unconscious, and actually acting upon it, you align with your true nature.
You stop leaking energy.
You free yourself from the exhausting, draining expectations of the crowd, and you officially resign your shares in the joint stock company of conformity.
To leave you with a final provocative thought to chew on this week, let's look at a concept inspired by the ancient Stoics, which honestly parallels Emerson's work perfectly.
Oh, I like where this is going.
It is the idea of amor fati, or the love of fate.
The love of fate.
Consider this. What if the obstacle, the fear, or the deep hesitation you are feeling about that specific task right now is not a detour?
What if it is not a sign that you are on the wrong track?
Exactly. What if the action you are avoiding the most is the exact, precise action required to forge your character?
The resistance you feel is not a red light telling you to stop.
No, it is a compass needle vibrating fiercely, pointing toward the exact work you are meant to do.
The obstacle is the path. That is profound. If you are feeling the resistance, you are facing the right direction.
It means you are looking right at the work.
We have covered a massive amount of ground today, navigating from the murky, sometimes terrifying waters of our own psychology, all the way to the clear, bracing wind of Emersonian action.
It has been a journey.
Your psychological blueprint might feel like it is missing, but you have your iron string to guide you. The supercomputer is running.
Just let it do its job.
This has been a phenomenal deep dive, but we are far from finished. Next time, we are jumping right into episode 7, Trusting Your Path, Why You Don't Need Full Certainty. That is going to be a great one.
We're going to build directly on everything we uncovered today, and you won't want to miss it. Thanks for being here. If you want the full series, check the playlist, and please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Keep trusting that iron string.